All right, all right, all right. I love my new intro. That is fire. So, we got a brand new show for you today. This is something new we're trying, just called Studio Talk. We get a lot of questions throughout the week from clients, from phone calls, questions on Facebook and Instagram. Coach, what about this? Coach, what about that? What am I supposed to do? So, I got Coach Haley here with me today, and she is going to help us through some of these questions. We picked two of the most popular ones today, and let's ask away. On you, Haley.
All right, so the first common one that I have come up is cardio or strength training. Which one should you do first and why?
So, to be honest, there is no scientific reason to choose one or the other. It's all bro science. However, I can explain to you what happens to your body during cardio and during strength training. If you do cardio before strength training, sometimes you can experience a little bit of fatigue. And the reason that is because your glycogen, your stored energy that's in your body, is being completely expended prior to your strength training. So the energy that your body would use for strength training has been cooked because of your cardio. Now, some people prefer to train that way because you can, in some instances, burn excess fat. You can, in some instances, experience a higher caloric burn. However, um, sometimes you can also be drained faster, so you won't experience the higher PRs. You won't experience the higher lifts in volume because all of that quick energy is already gone. So that's one. The other direction is if you do cardio after your weightlifting, is that more beneficial? So for most people, that is the most beneficial, the cardio after the strength training, because you have expended energy while weightlifting. And then when you do your cardiovascular activity, that is going to increase the fat burn and prolong the afterburn. So it all depends on what your goal is. If the goal is fat loss, well, then you want to go ahead and do your cardio after. If fat loss isn't as important, then you do your cardio before. However, there is no direct best. It's what's best for you as a human being. So the internet says some other things. So let me see if I can go over to the internet and share that with you, just so you can kind of get an idea of what um, what the world says. So the internet says for most people, doing cardio after weightlifting is superior to maximize strength, muscle growth, and fat loss. Lifting first allows you to use the freshest energy for heavy technical lifts, while subsequent cardio burns more fat. If endurance is your main goal, then cardio can come first, which is what we said a minute ago. So it really depends on you. Let's make a zoom in over here. Cardio after weights is recommended because weightlifting fatigues your muscles and lowers the glycogen stores, what we already said, and it compromises your strength and technique. Fat loss, lifting first, depletes the glycogen, causing your body to turn to fat stores sooner during your cardio. Finally, for muscle growth, training while fresh allows for higher intensity, driving better muscle growth, which is called hypertrophy, which is when the blood flows to the muscles to add the maximum pump. The best deal, if you're going to do it post lifting, you want to do it for 10 to 20 minutes of moderate intensity for recovery or 20 to 30 minutes for fat loss. Unless if your goal is specifically to improve endurance, if say you're training for a marathon, or you have a big swim meet or a triathlon or something that's an endurance sport, you want to make sure that you do the cardio first. Alternative. So for me, I prefer to separate the cardio from the lifting for a period of 3 to 4 hours. Now, the internet says you want to separate it by about 24 hours, or at least separate them in morning evening sessions, which is what I do most often. Walter likes to do cardio fasted in the morning and then um, do my lifting in the afternoon or the evenings. Because for me personally, that's what works best. But again, this is not an exact science. Everybody is different. One word, because everybody, two words, are different. Hopefully that cleared things up. What do you think, Haley?
I think that helped a lot.
Good. I'm glad. All right. And what's the second question of the day?
So we have a lot of clients come up to us and show us on TikTok and Instagram. People are talking about hitting their macros, but we want to get into more so what are macronutrients and how we should target them based off who we are and what our goals are.
Perfect. That's a great question and probably the most sought out answer in health and fitness world since the beginning of time when we started tracking these things. So macronutrients are made up of three things and three things only. Those three things are fats, carbohydrates, and protein. All foods, all beverages, all of everything are composed of one of those three things, except for one. Can you guess what it is? It's water. That's the only one that has no caloric benefit whatsoever. It's not a protein, it's not a carb, it's not a fat. It just is. Proteins, carbs, and fats are found in your food and beverages that you typically ingest. Carbohydrates are things like rice, potatoes, things like vegetables are typically carbohydrates. Now they're low in density to vegetables, but they're still carbohydrates nonetheless. Proteins are typically found in animals, and that's what helps us with muscle tissue and things of that nature. And fats are typically found in oils like polysaturated oils, monosaturated oils, butter, things like that, creams. Those are typically your fats. Now, what does all that mean for my nutrition? Having a balanced diet means you have the appropriate amount of protein, carbs, and fats for your body. How do we do that? How do we determine what's what? So, every human body is different, and there is no exact answer for how exactly many calories from fats, carbs, and proteins the whole world should have, but we can individualize those things and give a good solid guesstimation. So the American Dietetic Association and the Food and Drug Administration has told us that the average American consumes around 2,000 calories. And based on that diet, you should have X amount of protein, X amount of carbs, X amount of fats. That fluctuates depending on the client's needs and wants. If you want to build more muscle, you need to have more protein. If you want to lose weight, you need to add protein, reduce your fats, and reduce your carbohydrates. Let's explain what your calories are, and then before we get into all the weeds, because I don't think we're going to go that scientific into this. Our proteins comes from meats. Our protein typically comes from meats, but there are other sources like tofu and beans that have significant amount of proteins for plants, but they're not the same volume of protein per gram as would be a meat, right? We know this because if we get a protein powder, a protein shake, if it's whey protein, which is typically from cows, you'll get 25 grams of protein and have 100 calories. There are exactly 4 calories per grams of protein. So if there's 25 calories and 100 grams, that's 100. If there are 25 grams of protein, there should be about 100 calories per serving. We know that to be true for most protein powders because you'll have 25 grams of protein per serving, and then you have around 100 to 140 calories per serving. Conversely, when you're looking at a plant-based protein powder, typically what you'll find is 20 grams of protein per serving, and you have somewhere around 150 calories for that serving. So there's double calories when you're looking at a plant-based protein powder versus when you're looking at animal-based protein powder. So there are 4 calories per gram of protein. There are 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates, and there are 9 calories per gram of fats. So here's what that means to you. I'll use the 2 most common ones that we look at when we're measuring your meal plan are your carbs and your proteins. Most people need somewhere between 0.8 grams of protein to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for a 200-pound person, they need somewhere between 160 grams of protein and 240 grams of protein. That's that 0.8 to 1.2 range. So your specific needs are your specific needs. And as you work with your healthcare nutrition or your personal trainer professional, they should be able to explain that to you, what's best for you based on your goals. When it comes to carbohydrates, they should be balanced somewhat with your proteins if you're just a leisure athlete or someone who just wants to maintain. If you're trying to lose weight, you do want to reduce your carbohydrates just a little bit, but not necessarily down to zero. You can reduce it. Instead of having 1 gram of carbohydrate per pound, you can do maybe 0.75 grams of protein of carbohydrates per pound, if that's what benefits you for your weight loss journey. It's important to note, though, that carbohydrates are what gives you the quick energy stores when you're going to go lift weight. So you'll notice, or work out for a long amount of time, you'll notice that there are the instant workout gels and powders that you can put into your shakes during your workout to make sure that you don't get too exhausted during that session. So your proteins are important for building muscle. Your carbohydrates are important for maintaining energy, and your fats are good for your body for other things like brain health, like joint health. Those things are all important. Your skin health, your tissue health, all the things that make your body move require some kind of emollient or emulsifier, and that comes from the fats that are in the food. Now, some people use olive oil or avocado oil, or even just the fats that are in the foods naturally, like in your chicken, your beef, or your ground turkey. And that carries 9 grams of fat, 9 calories per gram of fat. So all in all, if you have a balanced diet, what balance means, at least to me, because it's gonna be a little bit different to everyone, a balanced diet means you have that amount of protein that's good for your body, between 0.8 and 1.2 grams of protein per pound that you weigh. You have between 0.75 and 1.5 grams of carbohydrates per pound that you weigh, and somewhere around 10 to 20% of your body weight in fat grams per pound. It just depends on, again, what your body needs are. And I'm not your doctor. Haley is not your doctor. She's not your nutritionist, but we are professionals here to help you. We're both certified in helping with these things. Hopefully, those 2 answers address the needs that you have when it comes to what you need to do. First, cardio or lifting weights. And then finally, what are your macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins? If you have the questions, you can also visit us at www.bestindelaware.com. You can also find us right here at 212 Carter Drive in Middletown, Delaware. We do also offer Free Fitness Saturday every single Saturday mornings right here live on our channel on YouTube, Best in Delaware, or on our Facebook at The Butterfly Effect Delaware. And we will hopefully see you soon. And Haley's going to do a workout with us later on. We're going to do some workouts because she's going through a transformation. We're going to get her on the stage sometime in 2026. And I'm going to be on the stage in 2026 as well. And hopefully we won't be on the stage at the same time, because I can't coach her and be on the stage simultaneously. I am not even Ian Vayer, and she is not Chris Bumstead, because we don't want to be them. We want to be us and be the best us that we can possibly be. So thank you for joining us for today's studio talk. And hopefully we will see you soon. And remember, be good, eat good, because you cannot out-train a bad diet. Talk to you later. Peace.